Lama control san la hyang sa lo. Dzogchen semchen tamche ji jeshen ji la pan zet so. Susan du nga chen ra che chin chen ya so me pon shiwa jil la so. And this chapter is connected to the 6th chapter and how to follow a spiritual friend. And the first is talking about liberation. Why maybe we say first to talk benefit of liberation, and there is a reason. Maybe like follow up the sequential explanations. Maybe first goes how to rely on or how to follow spiritual friend. Then we listen very carefully spiritual friend instructions. Then bring into the path or practice. Then the result, it is benefits of liberation. But here is we first to talking about benefits of liberation. And in order to follow or searching, in order to obey each individual teacher's instructions, and also we can to say is that in this perspective the teacher is Buddha, and in order to listen to the Buddha's teaching, and in order to study Buddha's message, and then we need to talk about benefits of liberation. Why? Because first we understood that consequence or the result of when you follow the spiritual path of the Buddha or spiritual friend of the Buddha, listen his teaching message, and then finally actually which kind of your result, and then your result is a benefit of liberation. Liberations make benefit for you. Liberation, when you are liberated yourself from disturbing emotion, obscuration, and confusion, ignorant, and of course principally there's two obscurations, and then you have such a benefit for other sentient beings. And therefore first we're talking about benefits, how much benefits of liberation. If we be liberated, how much benefit for us, also others. And very important to concern. And also we more to precisely like break down to utilize the meaning of the benefits, the meaning of the liberation. Here is the second word, liberation. Liberation means there's many different liberators or liberations. And any kind type of the sufferings to pacify it or demolish or purify any sufferings. And the result is we call the liberation. In our life, even with difficult to get job, suddenly you get nice job. What is your favorite job? It's a kind of you say, oh, I'm now liberated. Why? It's liberated my lack of food, clothes, money, financially. Now I have a good job. I can to settle now, slowly down my life. This is like, of course, materials. You can to say, I'm hungry, very much strive. What can I do? If we got some very delicious, nice food, wow, thank you. I'm liberated from the hunger. And like this, when we are hungry, what we need food. Food can make liberation for the hunger, strive. And when we are thirsty, we need water. When we find the water, it can take away the suffering of the thirsty. Thirsty make liberation by water. Like same way, we have inner sufferings. And inner suffering of the birth, old age, sickness, death. And maybe you say, why you say like this, inner? Because the externally birth, old age, sickness, death is just a word, empty word, or died word. It doesn't affect nothing word. But when they occur this situation in the mind or on the mind, then mind itself is suffering. Oh, now it is the birth process. Surely this process is making me problems. Can I live very soft without suffering? Almost there's no possible. We look at the three type of the births. Birth of the womb, birth of the heat, birth of the miraculous. And these four births, any kind of birth, is not simple. Mother's problem, child is also suffered. When they are possessed that, they're experiencing mother and the baby. When we are coming out, maybe it's like in order to develop our body, verb, mind. Maybe mind is a development. Maybe there is a mysterious. But is a body need to maturate in order to properly work, or in mind in order to work correctly. Then the tool of the like kind of the necessary for the body verb need to maturate. And then it's like to develop quite take times. Mind is suffering, like same as our vegetations. When you are like one apple tree, you put it in the ground, and first time you need to look, you immediately, even you are sick or hungry and longing for eat apple, few years you need to eating. It needs to maturate. During these maturations, quite tough, you need to take care. Of course, once it's maturate, then you can to eat. Maybe it's often coming result. Like this, when we become the 20 years, we need to develop, to take care by parents or our own self, give education, study, learn language, so on, so on. It's not really liberation. Of course, then it's become the adult, a little liberation. I'm not dependent on my parents. I can manage myself, kind of liberation. And then we start like kind of the setting, family, then slowly, our body is contaminated, body is compounded. And then it's like start the yellow leaves, like a kind of the leaves of the hair, teeth, ring, arms, skins. Very strange skins become. It's like very ugly leather. Lot of ring. White is like hair is become white. Teeth is losing. Then, of course, we want to enjoy it fresh, excited, same as the young. But there's no any more taste. This is we call the old age. Old age, externally old age. But in the mind need to experience. Who can to liberate? We need to think. Same as the death, sickness. Then we need to think about liberation. And maybe it's sometimes says, often I says, I don't want to follow the Buddha's teaching. I don't believe any spirituality. And that's true. We don't need to spirituality. We don't need to listen to Lama's teaching, Buddha's scriptures, any. But you be loyal to yourself, to be honest to yourself, to check how you want to liberation. If you say, I don't want the liberation of the happiness, it's a totally liar. You all the times we can to concentrate, even you eating breakfast, you're talking about delicious, not delicious. Which tea, good, bad. And this moment, how much we are thinking for the positive things. And if you are not kind of says, I don't care, then of course then we don't need to care you. Maybe we can to say make a nice new porridge. We can offer it to you. Can you eat? Say no, I don't like. Of course. It's obvious. You need delicious food. Delicious food is making joy, happy, and also make liberation of your morning hunger. And that is like you found it. Oh, I don't need any new porridge. I need nice coffee, nice bread, cheese, butter, honey, jam, so on. And that we are looking forward. Okay, you found it. You make delicious your breakfast. Let's do like this. Same way, for the birth, old age, sickness, death, there is something inconceivable, sufferings. We came from on the past life. We are now be in the present. We are going to in the next life, 100%. Then we can to look at the present situations. How I can to make kind of liberation. I'm now it's like in the human realms, but I'm very much confused. I'm in the human realms, but I don't know this is really human realms. You say the humans, but this is really human. Who called the human? And also in the human societies, we can to talk, we communication sometimes difficult to understand each other. And there is such a kind of problems. Therefore we call the defects of the samsara. Do you think about that or not? If you think, you should to think about something safe place. Reality, the safe place is not externally. Buddha, he said, Maybe it's like, oh, that means it's like I need to pray to the Sondopari, Devachan, something Pure Land. Ultimately, it's not. Your liberation, your liberation's in our mind, in your mind. Buddha himself, he's got the liberation, he's in the mind. Nothing externally, nothing he founded something externally. He founded the inner, his own mind. His basic mind in our mind, absolutely the same. He said, "Is the mind? It's all the sentient beings same, nature, movement, thinking, and experience sorrow, happy, neutrals. But of course, there is the different is the realization to understand situation, how you can to deal, and that perspective. Then is we have the samsaric sentient beings and the Buddhas. We have different." Now, if you want to find, if you have a wish to find your freedom, liberation in your mind, then maybe we can to study together Buddha's teaching. And maybe we can to get some experience. Here is we talking about the liberation. And then also we need to think about the, liberation set. For example, in the Konzon Lam Shalom said, freedom from this ocean of the sufferings called the samsara. And then it's like the follower of Selit to attain the level of Shavaka, Pachika Buddha, or the perfect Buddhahood. Why I need to study part of the Shavaka, Pachika Buddha and Bodhisattvas? I want to practice the liberation path. Yes, you are correct. You want to study liberation path. But you need example. For example, if you go to the universities, you cannot accept whatever they programs. Maybe in the universities, what they give you educations. Some in the past, science, like a kind of there's many like teachers, language, and like geographic, cosmology, so on, so on. There's many subjects. Or engineer, it doesn't matter. Mathematics, everything. And the past, there's some such learned, some holy beings. They put a lot of effort to study. There's some chief, then they wrote down, they give to us. We all the time follow up that. And then it's like when we arrive in the university, says, I don't want to study those books. I don't want to receive whatever in the ancient discovered things. I want to new things, how they can to create. If you need to find something new, we need to also to work. Maybe it's like you become the Pachika Buddha, self-Buddha, or self-teacher. And we have sometimes in some in the world, someone says, oh, now I'm be enlightenment. Oh, really? I understand everything. Oh, really? Wonderful. You check, ask questions. And do you understand this, that things? If you confuse it, then you are not realized. You need to study. And like this, then you study, okay, you don't need to follow the Shavaka's path. You don't need to follow the Pachika Buddhas. Maybe you say, I want to follow absolutely Bodhisattvas. Okay, that is the great. You know that in the Abhisamaya Lonkaras, there's 3 knowledges that you know. Basic knowledge, like ground knowledge, path, or like kind of fruition set. But these 3 knowledges, at the compare you can to see Shavaka, Pachika Buddha, Bodhisattvas. But what is it that is a path knowledge? Normally, it's a path knowledge is should to abandon it. That means I don't need to follow a path of the Shavaka Pachika Buddhas. Finally, it needs to abandon, to give up. Yes, that is right. But then it's a Bodhisattvas. Why I need to practice, to study? You need to study in order to make clarified your own path, your own like a kind of the liberation path. Really, Bodhisattva's path is Bodhisattva path. It is the perfect, unmistake. Then there's no Shavaka path, Pachika Buddha's path. Then how you can to refer? There's no comparison, no kind of the examples. You say it's like Bodhisattva's path perfect because compared to Shavakas, Pachika Buddhas, and like this, and then like this, basically like this, but some in this and that perspective, and different. And also is even you are the Bodhisattva, you follow the Bodhisattva's path. Really, it doesn't matter you are Bodhisattva's path or the Mantrayana's path. And you should to know, we need to notion of the basic rule, basic like the discipline, basic samadhi, basic wisdom comes from the Shavaka and the Pachika Buddhas. Absolutely, I think that's my understanding. And if you know about the perfectly the path of the Shavakas, and then you compare how it's different the Pachika Buddhas, there are similarity. Okay, beginning is like for Shavakas more emphasize for noble truth, and Pachika Buddhas more emphasize 12 links of interdependent. And but these three like books for noble truth, 12 link of the interdependent, are connected to the Buddha's teaching. Yes, my friend, India they say. Yes, my friend, is connected. These three are not go beyond the three sections of the scripture, Tripitakas. These two are not beyond the training higher realization of discipline, samadhi, wisdom, so on. And they are all the times connected. But it's like more emphasize Shavakas for noble truth, Pachikas more concerning. It is a 12 link of the interdependence. And there is such kind of the reasons. Shavakas really is like honest, and they are really truthful. They are great practitioner. They follow whatever Buddha said, just to follow. More kind of the worldly, a little bit difficult to analyze. Of course, we say it's like Shavakas, like more it is like kind of the like a lesser capacity mind's perspective. Like a kind of the we can to say beginner practitioners are like kind of Shavakas. And then you become the Pachika Buddha levels. Then you become the Bodhisattvas. And the beginning, it is like this. Then it's like they are follow the Buddha's, quoting the Buddha's teachings. Yeah, first the Buddha he taught, absolutely started for noble truth. Then second, third teaching. Therefore, we should to learn to study the Four Noble Truth. And then it's like yesterday we studied the basic, like how to say, to meditate. And also it's like a meditation here. Without a meditate, very difficult to be enlightenment. And therefore it is very important meditations. Like we can to say the three of these followers, and absolutely they meditate through the meditations. And you have this how to say 9 yanas, yes, 9 yanas. For example, we can look at the Pachika Buddhas how it is the established, they kind of the view, and how they understood, based the notion of the realities. For example, Shavaka Pachikas, how they established that their own view. At the basis of their path, they determined their view by the focus upon of the phenomena included within the 5 aggregates. We already say it's like a first path. When we are talking about for application of the mindfulness, and it's related to the 5 aggregations. And 5 aggregations form, and aggregation of the form, aggregation of the formation, sensation, for appearance, perception, consciousness, sensation, so on. And they analyze it, they check their own wisdoms through according to Tipitaka's like subject matter, based they're holding the discipline, samadhis, wisdoms. And of course, like they can to say those aggregations is there's nothing kind of the substantially existence. All the aggregations of the phenomena divided to like the subject of the aggregations, object of the aggregations. Subject of aggregations may be in yourself. Object of the aggregations is the phenomena of the appearances, and included may be mind. And then it's like all these aggregations, they like kind of break down how it is the existence. They avoided truly something existence, like very much how it is the like a kind of the self-existence, like a personal self, and also it's like a materials, and also the consciousness of the phenomena. There also is like a kind of they found it very subtle way. And then is in the in your book is they say is like the finally they asserting two real kind of the partless particles. Partless particle is they think is maybe is the source of the everythings. In the new language you can to say the primary cause. It is the cause of the first universal cause. That is the partless particles. And then is like a indivisible moment of the consciousness. Indivisible moment of the consciousness. And you have in the Matthew how to translate it, the 3. Okay, there is. This is very important to know about indivisible moment of consciousness. Moment. That is the momentary nature. And this is like kind of they fail to realize that absent of phenomenal identities. That means it's like kind of the object and the subject. If there is no building block of the atoms, partless particles, or the indivisible moment of the consciousness, then it's become completely nihilistic way. Then they have become very afraid. They say this is really kind of the existent, indestructible. That if you realize it, then you will become the enlightenment. Then you become the like liberation. When you be in our heart, you realize that the existence of partless particle and the indivisible moment of the consciousness. And that is the most important. And then it's like how to meditate. We already studied yesterday in your book. They said it's like the terms of the path. They practice the path samantha, like shamantha and vipassana meditations. They realized the state of the samadhi by abandoning obstacle and cultivating factor conductive to samadhi according to the 9 stages of the resting the mind and so on. So that's yesterday we studied very well. And also basically the analysis, same as the analysis, the Shavaka's analysis for the materials, like kind of the aggregations, Shavakas, also Bodhisattvas, and the system of the analysis is go through like the same. They finally did kind of the conclusion, what they established, their own perspective, own views. And also the path is like also Shavakas, Pachika Buddha, Shavakas is going to 9, yesterday we say it's the 9 methods of the placings. Or you can to see 9 stage of and the resting. It is kind of the same. This yesterday we did. There is a, it's maybe you can to send. Evelyn, she did fantastic. There's this 9 methods of the placings. And there is like kind of the antidote, obstacles, powers, so on. To she made the map. I hope it's not mistake. Maybe Lopan Shamba corrected. Maybe you can to learn. It is the memorize. And for example, myself is like it's very difficult to memorize. I try to memorize it, but difficult. If I can to memorize this one, is I'm very, 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 very happy, and absolutely I'm very happy. And also then is of course the Shavakas is absolutely connected about the Four Noble Truths. And here it says that the generated the wisdom of vipassanams, meditating on the 16 aspect of the Four Noble Truth. This 16 aspect of the Four Noble Truth, that is the more explanations. Like 4 is the truth of the suffering, 4 is the truth of the origination, 4 is like related to the truth of the sensation, 4 is related to the path. Then there are the 16 aspect of the Four Noble Truth. That is like kind of some more explanation in our this Rishi book, but also is the, how do you say, is the best in the gateway of the knowledge you have. There is the 16 aspect of the Four Noble Truth. And if you can to just first one is like according the sufferings, moto dunga tong dame, moto dunga tong dame, jadong konjong rahi, go yi jana nginjan, lori depa nginjan knows. This is the 16. And this one is like first, for example, the noble truth of the sufferings, like impermanent, selflessness, mata dunga, and the sufferings, and the emptiness. And this is like kind of the 4 aspects relate to the and suffering truth. And then there's also others like 4 that maybe you can do a little to check. Of course, it's very important. We need to study. And yesterday, 9 these methods, 9 methods of the placings, we kind of very roughly to study it. Even there is like only that the number can we remember. I'm not sure. For me, it's like, for example, I can to say the placing, continue placing, and repeated placing, and then it's like oh yes, close placing. This is 4 first. The tame, pacified, completely pacified, one-pointedness, and even placing. It is good. It's okay. And also we need study the 4 powers. Yes. 4 force. 4 force. 6. Yes, we studied 6. 6 strength. Yes, 6 force. And first is the force of the study. Second is the force of reflecting. And third force, mindfulness. Fourth is a force of the vigilant. Fifth is a force of diligent. Sixth one is the completely merge. Yes, that is to example. And then it's like first how it is connected. This one is yesterday we studied. Okay, I told to information. Can you look sometimes in the middle? A little bit count different. Yesterday is like first goes first, second goes second, third goes I think is true, and fourth goes true, and fifth goes true, and last one is that one. And that is but some and the other explanations maybe is like third one is maybe true, the fourth one is maybe true, fifth one and something like there is. Okay, maybe can you check? There's a little bit kind of but there is one is I think it's the ornament of the sutta. Ornament of the sutta. You can. There's one quotations. Maybe there is a little bit. Okay. We studied like this, and maybe it's like every day a little bit. We need to talk more about the meditations, and afterward we can to says Shavakas or Pachika Buddha or Bodhisattvas. They settled like a kind of one pointedness or mind of desirelessness through 9 methods of placings. And then there is kind of another like a real actually meditations, actually practice things. Like for example the how do you say Shavakas and the Pachika Buddhas, whatever they meditate, that is also is the meditating by the Bodhisattvas. Exactly the same. The Mahayana Sutta, the ornament of the Mahayana Sutta. That is, you can to look. There is a little bit about talking about. There is the 9 methods of placing. Then it's maybe we can to say it's a little bit Shavaka Pachika Buddhas, and also we are like a little bit kind of the jumping to, for example, basic Shavaka's path. Now like kind of how the Shavakas enter into the liberation path, and also then it's like Shavakas, how is emphasized Buddha's teaching and how they establish the view, and then it's like how they meditate, which kind of they using the tools, and all these things are absolutely similarity of the maybe Shavaka and also Bodhisattvas. But maybe it's like Shavaka said, Pachika Buddhas. Pachika Buddhas is a little bit kind of the different. Maybe we can to jump. Why not? It is a little bit. Would you like to study continue Shavaka or Pachika Buddhas a little bit? Maybe it's like Shavakas. You can to look in the our 9 yanas. Maybe it's like next one is like how about the Shavakas conduct. Shavakas is like normally kind of the little bit kind of according to Hinayana's perspective, and Shavakas is like a lesser kind of the vehicle perspective. That means it's like when we are the beginner, probably to say. For example, they like kind of the conduct is like activity, generally daily like kind of this, how they work. They keep to the 12 ascetic practice, and 12 ascetic practice, and 12 the practice ascetic. It's a very like kind of the fantastic way, and this maybe you can to look at the 12 ascetic practice. Maybe it is like a simple cloth, simple food, simple like kind of like this. And also it's like a 12 ascetic practice, and also this is ascetic practice, but also they like kind of avoid the two extreme forms of the lifestyle. Okay, they are like the two extreme forms of lifestyle. That is the very important. For example, when you practice your liberation path, you go to the retreat or something, maybe it's like a too much ascetic way. Maybe it's like a conditions very simple, food is very almost nothing like the same as the Buddha he did 6 years, and maybe very much hungry, very much cold, very much you a little bit kind of suffering to the body. Maybe that is not very good. It is the extremes. We need to give up that. And also it's like kind of a very relaxedly when you create a very wonderful solitude place like your hermitage house, maybe television, telephone, and all the electric equipment, and nice bed and nice sleep bag, delicious food, so leisure, like kind of, maybe that is the too much extremes. It's a middle way. For example, Buddha, he's after the 6 years, he's completely scheme, and he went to like go to in the river, and then it's like he fell down there. He every day per like one drop of the water. That is his like kind of ascetic way. One rice or the barley he ate it. And then this village, one lady came, young lady, she, like, you need to be enlightened like this. Then he got something, realization, say, and you should to take care your body. And this is like a kind of the message he received. And maybe it is like to hunger or the thirsty. Maybe sometimes we say go to in the solitude place, or conditions very bad, but we need to be enlightenment. It's okay, but also taking care until our mind is like free from the some negative circumstances, or mind is control mind itself. Then mind is can control the body. Then mind is can control the conditions. Until there, at least to taking care of them. For example, you sit on the all the times rock in the ground earth, no caution. Probably you will sick. After you sick, maybe it's before you be enlightenment. Maybe it's like by sickness obstacles you die, and therefore you need to some condition to protect. Of course, you don't need leisure like this. The 12th ascetic practice is very important. This 12th ascetic practice, the 12th ascetic practice, it is go beyond the true extreme form of the lifestyle. Not too much hunger. Don't eat in month or yearly. It is like if you can to get food from the salmon, this, of course, then you don't need to eat food, everything. Otherwise, it's like body need something. Like this, they are really follow the 12th ascetic practice, and like this. Then over like a kind of the indulgence, in a sense, pleasure, and excessive self, like punishment. This is like kind of the true extreme form of the lifestyle. And then it's like practice 12th ascetic, how do you say 12th? I was so difficult to remember. 12 ascetic practice, 12 ascetic practice, 12 12 ascetic. Okay, and then is of course, then there is a, how do you say, result through the samadhis, and we have you know very well, they attain any one of the 8 levels of the fruition. 8 levels of the fruitions, 8 levels of the fruition, corresponding to the degree to the which they have abandoned the kleshas. Kleshas, the disturbed emotions of the 3 realms. 3 realms of the desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realms. There are the 8 levels of 8 levels, because the 4 result of the stream entrance, once return, non-return, and arhat. And through that this how do you say, it's like 8 levels, 8 levels, and 8 levels, 8 levels, 8 levels, 8 levels, 8 rimbaton. Okay. There is we have like kind of the 8 levels because the 4 result of the stream entrance, and this is like a in Tibetan is the Songye Yajit. Songye Yajit. Maybe this is a very much complicated, but it's a, for example, there is like a stream enters has a true, and maybe we can to see true what it is. One is the just entry. Maybe we can to see in the door. Okay, you just arrive in the door, you enter, is just the first one. It's not actually you are in the temple. Okay. And then the second one is that really you in the stream entrance. Stream entrance. That is that you be actually you in the temple. Then there is two, yes, you first to enter, and second you are actually there. Then exactly is the once you return, also is you like kind of the entering, and the actually you entered inside. And exactly non-return also is like enter, it's a beginning, and actually there's and also it's like the non-return like this. Then it's also is like our heart. There is like kind of the how do we say, it's like left or something there is. Yesterday we says Chloe, remember this word? Huh? Yes, residuals, like residual arhat or non-residual arhat, and this is like very important. Okay, dacham in Tibet dacham lakchi lame, and this kind of the, for example, how there is this shubas jushu sharmo dacham, yeah, and there is you can to say it's like stream enter one return two, no returner three, then arhat. Yes, this is the 4 result. Yes, this 4 result itself has 8 levels. 8 levels. 8 levels, for example, one we can take example in this temple. Okay, maybe 8 levels. First you say just entrance the door, and one is like inside you are sitting some, and already you took the caution, you are like there's your own place, and like this. Maybe someone is entering, for example, our heart's perspective, and you entered but you forgot something, you need to run outside. That's maybe our heart. This is like how do you say this word? Residue. Residue. Okay, residue is leftovers. Dachan lakchi to hlamit, and take as lakchi is like you something done. Hlami is completely is like to be the our heart. Is our heart means it's a then is I want to give a little bit strange information, and also there is like kind of related to the, there is 8 levels of the meditation absorptions, and this is connected to the formless realms, and you add the in the desire realms. For example, we can to say it's like you to how do you say achieve the, this is not corresponded, but you got the one pointed mind, the desire elements. Maybe you cut it, purified the desire of realms, this desire elements, desire, obstacle, agitation, or the dullness. Then you have the level of, there's one. Then it's like the 4 dhyanas, coding that you have like a kind of the levels, first, second, third, fourth, and then it's the formless dharmas. This is called generally like 8 or 9 levels of the absorptions. And later maybe you can also there's could you to look more. But this is small information. Can you look at in Mr. Google? There is a lot, maybe different way the translations, and but maybe once the result is a little bit very good. Shavakas, for example, Anton, how they are follow the Buddha's path first. For example, based the renunciation, and they want very much interest to be liberation, absolutely same Bodhisattva, Shavaka, Pachika Buddhas. And then it's like they enter is like this. They want to be peace to quickly to Arhat. And second, then they're going to need to meditate. And we can to say it's like without meditation, without something need to concern into your mind, without that, how you be enlightened, and then they need to establish the view. And the second view means is like how I can to concern exactly the same Pachika Buddha Bodhisattvas also they do. And then they are like kind of concerning. They concerning the basically you can to say the 5 aggregations, or it's like kind of the same as the if you according the path, it is like the 4 the 4 applications of remindful body, sensation, mind, like a kind of phenomena. Maybe is included the 5 aggregation. In the Shavaka's perspective, 5 aggregation is the representative of all everything. And then they think is divided these 5 aggregations, like kind of the subject, object. Subject is the self, your body. Object is, they say, the phenomena included the consciousness. Then they establish the view, how it is I need to realize it. They say it is the self is like kind of the 100%. This self means this body. This aggregation of the gates of the body is established. They say finally there is partless particles. Surely this is like primary cause, and like kind of first cause. Like for example, in the Christianities, we go to who's first in the world universal coordinate, they could say the God. In the scientific, maybe you can say it's like maybe Big Bang. And maybe it's like in the Buddhist perspective, of course, higher say is the nature reality. Then it's nature realities, is the Shavaka's perspective, this particle, and the the momentary, indivisible moment of the consciousness, indivisible moment of the consciousness. These are the primary cause, and that is the reality. This one is birthless, deathless, maybe is enlightenment. Then that they are going to like a kind of the meditate. Then it's like how do they meditate? They follow up the principally. There's 9 methods of the placing, and also they do, for example, Pachika Buddha, Bodhisattvas. Maybe they can do like true, and of course there is different maybe methods principally like this, and then it's like the conduct. How they have conduct, like according the 12 ascetic practice, and they are like this 12 ascetic. The practice is go beyond the 2 extremes. One is like desperate food or something like this. How it says, you need. Yes, this is like excessive self-punishment. This is last one. Before, one is like the food, cloth. One is like one is like too much poor. One is too much rich. You can't say it's like this. the middle way. And then the result, there's the 4 kind of the result, yes. And also it's like maybe it's a bodhisattvas a little different. This is like according the Shavakas result is like this. Then there is of course we can to divide the Shavakas is like a principle like this. Sometimes there's 18 Shavakas. This is like you need to look at the Abhisama longer. I don't want to make problem for you. But it's like a small thing. These things there is like we can to say is, there's a 3 like a kind of the 3 are the 8 levels because of the 4 result. The 8 levels of the 4 result of the these 8 levels according to this each like kind of the result has a 2 2 2. This one is explanation wonderful there. Maybe I choose says example, one is an entrance begin entrance door, one is the real there is. Therefore, for example, in Tibet it's like a shupa la jun se, and the Sherman la shupa don dini se, dini shupa don dini se. I think I don't know how to translate in English. In Tibet, shupa dini. Oh, he song ya je setem. Song ya je is like the basically there's a 4, and then it's like the divided 4 and then become the 8, because it's like you counting enter. Maybe that means it's like this is not one person, okay? It's one person. It's like enter, they run out, then it's coming back. You counting like this? No. For example, one is like enter, okay, but then they need to go back. That is like the enterings, just enter, but like, and one is like they went inside, they stayed there. Maybe you during the teaching, but while you settle your question, but you need to go out. And one is you put there's you never need to go out. Everything is your inside. One is like then is the achievement of the attainment. There is like kind of arhat. Okay, maybe it's stop with the coffee. Okay, half an hour.